Yo, what's up, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty crazy one. Before I jump into it, just want to say I have new merch. It's out now. I think this drop is super dope. So go check it out if you want to. And if you buy anything, please tweet me on Twitter or tag me on IG your order confirmation. I'm going to be liking posts and following people back as much as I can, as well as retweeting people. And if your order is over $200 and you included your email in the order, you'll be getting an email from me to set up a Discord call with me for me to personally say thank you. Anyway, let's jump into today's story time. I think it's a pretty crazy one. So today's story time is about the time that one of my crazy ex-girlfriends tried to literally poison me. Yeah, not clickbait on that one. I think this story time's definitely in the top 5 of crazy ex stories that I told on this YouTube channel. So yeah, leave a like on the video if you enjoy this story time, and let's jump right into it. So this story time takes place in 2018, okay? Mid-2018. And I had been dating this girl for a while at this point. It had to have been at least over 3 months at this point. So it was enough time to know that me and her had a pretty good connection. But for some reason around this time, she started to get very insecure and not trusting me at all. Now, she had an ex that cheated on her, so she did have trust issues. But for the most part, in the 3 months of us dating, she never had a trust issue with me. But I guess it just started to happen at this point, and she began to stop trusting me. She was always questioning where I was going. Like, if I was with 2 friends of mine, and I told her I was with 2 friends of mine, she wouldn't believe me. She would ask me to send her a Snapchat of them so that she could trust that I was actually with them. And yeah, just a bunch of different trust issues were presenting themselves and showing up. And that was fine with me. I mean, I totally understood why. I mean, she had a pretty bad situation with her last boyfriend, so I was being patient about it. It's not like I was, upset about it or anything. I was just trying to be as patient as I could. But then one day all of that changed when she took it to a completely different level, okay? So a few weeks after these trust issues began with her and me, she hits me up one morning and she's like, "Hey, do you want to hang out today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm down to hang out. Like, we can hang out till like 4, but at like 4:30 I have to get picked up by my friend and go to his birthday party with him." And she was like, "Oh, which friend is it?" I was like, "Jake." Now, his name's not actually Jake, but for the sake of the story time, I'm calling him Jake. I'm like, "Yeah, it's Jake's party." And she's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Why can't I come with you?" And I was like, "I was going to invite you, but I figured you wouldn't want to go. It's not like a friend birthday party. This isn't like a legit party. It's literally me, Jake, and his family going to a restaurant. It's a family birthday celebration. Like, it's going to be pretty boring." And she's like, "Well, I want to go." I'm like, "Okay, hold on one sec." So I call up Jake. I'm like, "Yo, Jake, my girlfriend wants to come. Is that okay?" And he's like, "Bro, I have no problem with her going, but the problem is we're eating at a really nice restaurant and we already made reservations for our specific number of people, and we had to make these reservations like a month out. So there's literally no way we could get her in the reservation. Like, we have to add another person and they won't let us. We already tried with somebody else." I'm like, "Oh, shit." He's like, "Yeah, man, but I'll still try for you." I'm like, "All right, dude, thank you." So Jake hangs up and he calls the restaurant, and sure enough, to no surprise, they tell him that the reservation's full and that they can't add any more people and that the restaurant is completely packed that night, so they can't add another person. So yeah, that was a bummer. So I text my girlfriend about it. I'm like, "Hey, Jake called the restaurant, tried to add you to the reservation, but they said they couldn't, that it was full, and that the restaurant is at full capacity, so they can't let anyone else onto our reservation. But if you want, I can pick you up some food and bring it back right afterwards. I'm not staying there long. I'm only going for dinner, and then I'm going straight home, so we could hang out right afterwards and before." And she was like, "Austin, this is why I have trust issues with you." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" She's like, "Austin, when you say you can't let me go to this party, it makes me think that this party is something entirely different than what you're saying it is." And I was like, "No, I'm telling you the truth. Like, this restaurant isn't letting us add one more person on the reservation. I will literally give you the phone number. You can call them and ask yourself, and they'll tell you the same thing." And she was like, "Fine, give me the number." So I gave her the number to the restaurant. She never called it. She said she would later, and she never did. Now, if she did call it, this whole situation could have been avoided, but she didn't. So anyway, later that day, my girlfriend came over. We hung out till 4. Then at 4:30, I had to get picked up by my friend, and me and my friend and his family went to this dinner. And my girlfriend was beyond pissed at me. Like, when I had to leave, she wasn't looking me in the eyes. She was giving me a bunch of attitude. Like, she was just being so sarcastic. She's like, "All right, have fun at your quote-unquote dinner." Like, she didn't trust me whatsoever. So I tell her that I'll text her as soon as I'm done with dinner, and we can hang out right afterwards. And she was like, "No, I don't want to hang out with you after dinner. I want some time to myself." I'm like, "Okay, that's fair." So yeah, me and my friend and his family go to dinner. I was kind of in a bad mood because my girlfriend was just being super, like, just kind of rude to me and just super, like, not trusting me. So I just really wasn't in a good mood. So we get through dinner, and dinner was completely normal. It was a really good dinner. And after that, I get dropped back off my house, and I text my girlfriend. I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm back home now, so if you do want to hang out tonight, like, you're welcome to come over at any point. And she goes, okay, I changed my mind. I'll come over in an hour. I'm like, all right, great. So I was kind of excited about this. I was like, all right, cool. She's not mad at me. Like, she's over it. She trusts me. I'm glad. Oh, I was so wrong. I was so wrong, okay? So a little while later, she comes over and she has a takeout to-go box of food from this local restaurant down the street from my house. And she was like, hey, I got you this. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, it's dessert. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I open it up and it's literally a bunch of deep fried Oreos. And now I was really happy. I was like, yo, she really trusts me. She bought me dessert. Like, this night completely turned around. Like, what an awesome girlfriend I have. So I start eating these deep fried Oreos, and immediately upon eating the first one, I realized that they kind of tasted funny. They tasted just very strange, like not very good, but I didn't want to disappoint her and not eat what she bought me, so I kept eating them. And after I got to the third one, I was just feeling like shit. It tasted really weird and just strange, and it was making me nauseous and like bloated. So I told her that I'll finish them later, and she was like, okay, sounds good. And she had this really like evil looking smirk on her face, and I didn't know why. So I put the dessert down and I go into my room with her and we lay down on my bed, and I was just feeling like absolute garbage at this point, like super nauseous, like the room felt like it was spinning. I just did not feel good. And she was like, oh, can I get you anything? Like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know. I just feel very sick. Like, I think I ate too much tonight. And she was like, yeah, you probably ate way too much. Like, let me get you some water. I'm like, all right, thank you so much. And she gets up and she walks out of the room to grab some water. And I had this gross taste in my mouth from these deep fried Oreos. Like, something was wrong with them. They did not taste right. And I just felt super nauseous. So usually when I'm super nauseous, I chew gum because it just helps me feel better. So I go into her purse because she left her purse by my bed, and I start looking for gum because my girlfriend would always keep gum in her purse. So I open up her purse and I immediately see the gum and I grab it, and right under it is this little like drip bottle, this little brown bottle with a label on it, and the label says Ipecac syrup. Now I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but Ipecac syrup is a syrup that you can take, or I think you can take it in pill form. I'm not sure how many different ways you can take it, but either way, it's a medicine that makes you throw up. From what I've read about it, I'm pretty sure nobody even uses this medicine anymore. Like, I just don't know why she had it. But the minute I saw that bottle, I recognized it because I've seen it and I've used it before when I was younger. And the minute I saw this bottle of this syrup in her purse, I immediately throw it back down in her purse and I run into the bathroom and throw up because I just felt so sick. And when I got out of the bathroom, she's sitting on my bed just smiling. And I was like, did you poison me? And she goes, Austin, what are you talking about? I'm like, I just went in your purse to grab gum, and I saw something in there. This something is used to make people throw up. And her smile just gets even wider. And she goes, if I can't enjoy dinner with you, then you can't enjoy dinner. And I was like, what? And she's like, yep, got it out of you, didn't I? I genuinely don't think I've ever experienced something so evil in my life. Like, what kind of logic is that? Like, yeah, if you won't take me to dinner with you, then I'm going to poison you after your dinner and make you throw it all up. Like, that's just insanely evil. So I tell her that. I'm like, do you understand how evil that is? Like, you just poisoned your boyfriend and made him throw up because you wanted me to not enjoy dinner without you. That is insane. And she was like, yeah, well, I'm insane. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Get the fuck out of my house. And she was like, what? I'm like, you heard me. Get the fuck out. You just literally gave me medicine to make me throw up. Like, get out. Like, we're done. I'm breaking up with you. Never talk to me again. And she gets up and she starts gathering up her stuff and she grabs her purse and she goes, you know what, Austin? You're never going to find another one like me. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I'll probably never find another girlfriend that's willing to literally poison me to prove a point. And she just smiles again with that evil smile and walks out of my bedroom and walks up to my front door and leaves. It was the most evil thing ever. So yeah, after that, I was still pretty sick. I had to throw up like 2 more times, but after that, I was feeling fine. And yeah, I never talked to her again. So yeah, I feel like this is one of the craziest girlfriend stories I've told in my opinion. It's probably in the top 5 or the top 3. But yeah, moral of this story, if somebody brings you food, make sure you 100% trust them to not mess with it. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.